The United Arab Emirates is home to some of the richest families in the world. Of the 6 ruling families, Abu Dhabi's royal family, the Al Nahyan dynasty, is the 4th richest in the world. In this video, we'll learn more about the trillionaire lives of its members. No one knows for sure how much money the royal family has because there isn't a clear line between the government and the family. The family has been in charge of running the country since it became independent. Currently, it's Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan's 6 sons, with his 3rd wife Fatima bint Mubarak Al Khatbi, who make the rules not only in Abu Dhabi but also in the other emirates. Sheikh Tahnoon bin Zayed Al Nahyan and Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Man are the head of the family and the current ruler of Abu Dhabi. He is also the president of the United Arab Emirates, UAE. He is already worth $30 billion on his own. Talk about a powerful man with everything money can buy at his fingertips. MBZ sure knows how to spend his money and be as extravagant as very few people can. For example, in 1981, he married Princess Salama in a wedding that was estimated to have cost $100 million. I mean, MBZ actually had a stadium built that could hold 20,000 people for the ceremony, which lasted 7 days. Because if you know how to spend money, you know how to party. It's not surprising, then, that when we look at MBZ's assets, we find some pretty extravagant things, since a billionaire isn't really a billionaire unless he has a yacht. MBZ owns the Rob Don, a luxury motor yacht with a 73-meter length, a top speed of 27 knots, 15 captains, room for 14 guests, and 16 crew members, and a price tag of $60 million. The Zam, which belongs to Sheikh Khalifa, is the largest yacht in the world. The family owns at least 3 yachts, including the Rob Don. The first son of Sheikh Zayed and the second president of the UAE, Sheikh Mansour, is also the most complex and expensive yacht ever built, costing between $400 million and $600 million. But MBZ and his family aren't just interested in exploring the sea. They also have at least 5 private jets, including a $450 million Boeing 747 and a $180 million Boeing 787 that can fit the whole royal family. If you're a billionaire, why buy a small plane? Sheikh Tahnoon is the head of the Abu Dhabi Wealth Fund ADIC, the first Abu Dhabi bank, and the country's national security advisor. Sheikh Mansour is the deputy prime minister of the UAE, the head of the Federal Fund Emirates Investment Authority, the chairman of the central bank, and the head of the Abu Dhabi United Group, an investment company that owns properties all over the world, with its biggest stake in the City Football Group. Tourism, robotics, finance, gastronomy, sports, and the entertainment industry are just some of the international fields that this conglomerate is involved in. It helps to spread the family's power and impact around the world. Some of the Al Nahyan's other biggest assets are properties in London, like the Berkeley Square House, and palaces all over the world. The Royal Palace in Abu Dhabi, whose name literally means Nation's Palace, is the presidential palace and a cultural and tourist landmark in Abu Dhabi. The Casa Al Watan was finished in 2017 after a long and difficult construction that took 150 million man-hours and cost about $490 million. It has been open to the public since 2019, and it has been nominated for the World Travel Awards as the top cultural tourist attraction in the Middle East for 2020. With such a large budget, the palace had to be stunning, and it is. The construction and design of the palace pay tribute to the Arab heritage and culture. It has a huge area of 380,000 square meters with 2,300 rooms that include libraries, dining areas, and shopping areas. The outside of the palace is white and made of granite and limestone. The inside of the palace is beautifully and thoroughly decorated with blue and golden details that result in over 5,000 unique designs of Arab-inspired iconography all over the walls, ceilings, and floors. The palace also has a 37-meter diameter dome on top of a central chamber, which leads to the Great Hall, the largest room in the compound. The Great Hall separates the building into the east and west wings, while the East Wing is called the House of Knowledge and acts as a kind of museum with artifacts, religious texts, and a library with more than 50,000 books about the country's social, political, and cultural history. The West Wing is used for political and official events, like meetings or banquets with other world leaders or partners. For example, Hamad bin Hamdan Al Nahyan, also known as the Rainbow Sheikh, is a member of the royal family who is known for his extravagant spending habits. He is in charge of $20 billion. The sheikh put together one of the world's biggest and most impressive car collections. He got the name the Sheikh from his love of multicolored things, which is clear in his collection of rainbow-themed cars like the classic Mercedes-Benz he ordered for his own wedding, which made Mercedes stop making cars to focus on his order. If that wasn't strange enough, the Sheikh also had a car with a rainbow painted on it. Sheikh is crazy about unconventional and modified cars, such as a Mercedes S-Class that was turned into a monster truck, an 8-wheeled Nissan Patrol, and a giant-sized Land Rover Jeep and Dodge Power Wagon, which is insanely huge, being at least 5 times the size of a normal truck, consisting of a living room, 4 bedrooms, and a bathroom inside that really makes a strong contender for the weirdest car in the Sheikh's collection. But I still think that his Globe motorhome tops the list. This one consists of a giant car shaped like our planet with 9 bedrooms and 8 bathrooms on multiple levels. No one knows for certain how much it costs, but one thing is for sure. There isn't a more luxurious and eccentric road trip than the ones the Rainbow Sheikh could offer us with his wagons. But the cherry on top for me is the largest caravan ever that was built just for him and mimics the sandcrawlers from Star Wars, because who wouldn't order their own sandcrawler with all his money? I don't think we can act surprised on this one. To keep all of those babies protected, of course, the Sheikh had to build a giant metal pyramid garage in the middle of the desert to keep all of his 200 cars, which also works as a museum open for tourists, the Emirates National Auto Museum. But the Rainbow Sheikh's extravagance does not end here. A must-have for every billionaire, the Sheikh has his own private island called Futisi, with a total area of 50 square kilometers. To make it a bit more personal and special, he built a canal using engineers at Abu Dhabi's National Marine that spelled his name over its territory, so huge that it was visible from space. For some reason, later on, he had the signature filled in, maybe from embarrassment. We'll never know. But luckily, the Sheikh has enough cash to make some little repairs and touches on his property. In addition, because billionaires are not only made of the weird stuff they often buy, but also of peculiar hobbies they cultivate, the royal family is very fond of falconry, an activity that is apparently passed from generation to generation, as MBE used to do with his father. Falconry is none other than some falcon training where you teach and train a falcon to attack on command. Falcons aren't actually that expensive, but of course the royal family wants the top-notch falcons one can have, which can cost up to $250,000. And if that was not enough, MBZ also opened a falconry school named after him to help to continue bringing this tradition for new generations to come. Now, if they will enjoy this hobby as much as MBE or even be able to afford it, is a whole other discussion. However, we are lucky enough to see that apparently all this wealth might be too much for the royal family to keep it all to themselves. Following his brother Sheikh Khalifa's footsteps in philanthropy, MBZ often donates some of his fortune to political, humanitarian, scientific, and cultural initiatives since the time he was still a prince. Some of those donations include gifting millions of dollars to the UN Global Initiative to fight human trafficking, investing in efforts for child vaccination in Afghanistan and Pakistan, a funding grant to the MD Anderson Cancer Center of the University of Texas, efforts in setting up art museums such as Love Abu Dhabi, and to protect wild animals like falcons and the Arabian oryx. At least it seems more people outside the Al Neon house can enjoy some of this fortune.